All right, here we are with another morning. It has been rather interesting watching myself pull ahead in the world of YouTube uploads. I have effectively gone pretty far ahead of where I was, mostly due to the fact that let's see, how do I want to say this? So I caught up with myself, sometime back in June, maybe even in May. And then I've been just uploading videos every morning and pretty much putting them on YouTube same day. Sometimes I fall a day or two behind, but I've not yet fallen completely behind in that because I usually stay a month ahead of the date. And so I've not fallen so far behind that I've been less than a month ahead. But the other thing is I usually always have content filmed and ready to go. I just haven't actually uploaded it yet. And this weekend I actually got to film an additional video, which I haven't filmed the video on the weekend in a long time, so that was a help. And then as long as I can maintain 7 videos every week, I'll at least maintain my month ahead schedule. I'm obviously not gonna shoot for 7 and then just call it a day, but I at least have that 7 video goal in my head so that I know what I'm working towards. And so with that all kind of working and under consideration, it feels pretty good to know that I'm in a good place where I can keep the information going. And so with all that being said, I think that I'm moving up into a good place. This has been a good exercise just to see what it is I'm capable of doing. These little conversations have been fun, and I've been able to learn a lot about myself about that. And so I think moving forward, I will aim to upload at least once a week. I need to start filming more advanced content, and then with the advanced content, need to get back into editing, which I'm not too worried about editing. I'm more worried about just the idea of filming content and the time it takes to edit it. But at any rate, I have a pretty solid content base scheduled or planned or whatever. I just need to now get in the habit. What I really should do probably on weekends, instead of filming more of these, I should start filming my more advanced concepts and then putting those together so that I can start uploading for next year. And maybe that'll be something that I do in the fall, in October. Last fall was when I really started preparing for this project and where I really blew ahead. I need to figure out how many weeks are in a year, and then that will give me a good goal of what to shoot for. If I can shoot to release a highly edited video at least once a week next year, then perhaps my chances of success will be greatly increased. But that all is not really what I came to talk to you guys about today. I always kind of start my videos out now with an update on how this whole 24/365 challenge is going, but I try to lead myself into a bigger, badder concept. And today's concept is me starting to feel like a boomer in some fashions of the word. There's these YouTubers that I follow on YouTube. I follow a great variety of YouTubers on YouTube, but there's one in particular that I follow who makes a lot of videos where he analyzes scripts and story and all of these things. And in some facets of it, I feel like there's a group of young people who have gone to school to be storytellers, and they now have this cynical superiority outlook on storytelling. And I have done a great deal of research on storytelling. I've also written a great deal of stories and can observe them on a more advanced level than the surface level. But because I've done all my research on my own and I haven't officially gone to school for it, people don't tend to take my opinions very seriously on the matter. But then I'm forced to see these people on YouTube who are, and I don't like to age discriminate, but these people are younger than I am, and I'm not even 30, and I know that I don't know everything that there is to know about stories. And so to hear these people in their very early 20s observing and critiquing story just rubs me the wrong way. And it bugs me because, well, there's the age thing. I'm not going to pretend like that's not a thing. Like, you've only been out of high school now for 3 years, and you're going to tell me that you have mastered the art of storytelling and can observe and appreciate all of these things? That's kind of a load of hogwash. And I keep running into this problem with YouTubers where I lose interest or I lose faith in their content because of these sorts of things. So I was watching this person today, and he was talking about how he prefers consulting work, and he's done all this major consulting work, and I was like, but who have you consulted with? And like, why are these people working with you? Like, what, outside of your YouTube following, what credentials do you have to be critiquing someone's work? And the last person that I followed that was like this, I actually did sign up for their critique service one time, and when I did, it was a glorified editing service. It was very expensive, for one, and for two, it was basically just editing, and I did not find it to be worth the price when I can hire an editor for less and usually get more out of them with it. And then so I attempted to sign up to this person's class to see what all they had to offer, and it was very challenging to even get into a class with him because of all of the other things he allegedly had going on. Because I was trying to, and that's like an instantaneous like turn off for me. Like, if you have enough customers that you can turn off customers, then good for you, I suppose. But to me, it's just frustrating. But like, I was trying to schedule a call with a guy, and he wanted to schedule a call anytime between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And I was like, dude, I am like, it's right smack dab in the middle of my work day. Like, I cannot do that. And so I was like, can we do like at 4:30 at the earliest? And he was like, no, that's smack dab in the middle of my work day. And I was like, okay, well, if you're not trying to get my business, then I'm not going to give it to you. And then, excuse me, we were supposed to reschedule in May, and we never did reschedule. And I was like, whatever. But so he released a video recently talking about the Deadpool Wolverine movie, which I have no real interest in watching that movie, though he does bring some good points that I agree to, and that's like the whole reason why I was following him. And this should be a video in and of itself, but he's like, I love that we have brought ourselves into this IP war now, where everybody is just waving the flag of these billion-dollar IPs that they represent, and they're trying to say that like theirs is better or theirs is worse or this is good, this is bad, and it's all these major money-making companies who could care less about the individuals who are repping their thing. And I've felt that way for a long time. And one thing that always gets me going is when people complain about how much money something is making or how much attention something is getting, and they're one of the people who is giving it money and or giving it attention. And that is 900% part of the problem. The one that I go to more often than not is the Velma franchise, or is the Velma series. There's this new Velma series, if you're not familiar, that like deliberately was a slap in the face of the original Scooby-Doo canon. You knew it was going to be some media marketed ploy, and like they deliberately even insulted their fans in several advertisements for the show. And so I ignored it. I didn't give it the time of day. I didn't search it on Google. I didn't look up anything about it. And I completely ignored it. And in modern day society, that is the worst thing that you can do to an IP. If everybody in the world who knew that Velma was going to be garbage ignored it instead of watching it, that would have made a huge impact on the show. But now people want to cover it so that they can give it bad reviews or bad attention, and any attention is good attention, especially in the entertainment industry, because if people are talking about how bad something is, it's going to entice other people to go watch it to see how bad it is, and then from there you're going to get your ad revenue regardless. If you're getting 100,000 people watching your thing because they all want to see how bad it is and trash on it and make videos about how bad it is, that's still 100,000 people that have seen the advertisements on that video. It's still made its money. And it's like, that is how the world works. If you want something to fail, if you want to hate something, you have to ignore it. You cannot sit here and enjoy it. And people want to complain about how much money sports players make and all of these things, but it's like, you're a sports fan. You are a fan of sports. You watch sports. You go to sporting events. You buy the jerseys. And then you want to complain about how much they make. They make all that money because you're giving it to them. Like, stop giving them money, and then maybe we'll live in a world where they're not making a stupid amount of money. And that is what it comes down to. The more and more I dive into advertising, the more and more I realize just how expensive that really is. And people talk about, like, where do these people get their money? How do these people get their money? That is 1000% how people get their money. Because I was trying to advertise My Little Compression Man on local theaters, and if I wanted to run an advertisement for an entire year in these theaters, I'd be looking at $15,000. That's 5 figures that I would have to fork over for an entire year in a theater, which is also not nearly as popular of a medium as it ever has been. And so it's still something that I'm relatively passionate about, and so I will attempt to get somewhere with that. But at the end of the day, it's going to cost a good chunk of money, and I'll probably only put it in theaters for like a month, and then I got to time it with something else that's coming out that will bring people to the theaters, and it's just a whole thing. And it's just very interesting to me now that I'm experiencing it. Like, that is absolutely where the money's coming from. These people, because how else do you get something started in this world? I can make something original till the cows come home, but how do I get people watching it? In a world that's ruled by billion-dollar IPs, how do you get your brand new IP off the ground? You've got to get it in front of people, and you've got to get it in front of the right people who are going to enjoy it. And that is very difficult into these days, very difficult. And so it'll be interesting, but like that is kind of where I am with life right now, and with entertainment, with media. I don't much care for these pre-established billion-dollar IPs. because they're making content that spreads the message, the larger message that society wants people to gobble up. And that's just a load of garbage. So I would rather watch a lesser film that is not showing me or telling me something that society is already trying to shove down my throat and have an interesting and compelling narrative than watch some billion-dollar pile of trash. Because the independent film with subpar acting is more compelling to me than the pile of trash is. But the problem is there's not enough people like me in the world who are willing to give the independent people a try. And perhaps the only reason why I'm willing to give them a try is because I too am an independent creator. And I hope and wish that someday someone else will give me that same chance. And it's fun to say these things when you're not famous and when you're not somebody. But I sure as heck wish if I ever do get somewhere in this life and I ever do blow up and get to be recognized, that I can create a platform for the nobodies in the world, for the original IPs that are scraping to find their way, and help them out. I don't want to help out these pre-established people. I don't want to sell out the soul of my companies. I've always said I'll have one IP that is my sellout, and I will use that for all the money that I can possibly get out of it. And then anything I create after that will be 100% my vision, because the creator's vision should rule out over the financial vision. Now, money makes the world go round, and that's why I'll keep the one IP that actually makes me money. But then past that IP, it's all just going to be passion for me. And I think about the time and I think about the success, and I cannot wait for those days to come. I've at this point given up on these videos being that for me. It just doesn't pan out. It's not the kind of content that YouTube promotes, and you have to play by YouTube's rules in order to get popular on YouTube. So hopefully my next round of content will be more in line with YouTube's rules. But I honestly think like that was a pretty good conversation. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope you got some good stuff out of it. Definitely some thoughts there that could be their own videos in and of themselves. But thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day.